I think they grossly underestimate, or they do it on purpose, I believe, where they don't really let the people in on how much impact the tokenization of everything is going to have. It's going to be massive. There's no way around it. I just don't see any way that doesn't happen, where these prices don't skyrocket. And now a lot of people, they're looking at the retail aspect. OK, they want retail to have impact. I think retail will have an impact, but I think it's going to come mostly through once everything is on chain. They're tokenizing everything. You take the value off of, let's say you tokenize some artwork or some valuables or something like that were handed down. I think a lot of that's going to go on. And one of the reasons I think that's going to occur is because of a variety of articles that were put out, and the research was done by professional companies, where a lot of the younger people, like ages 20 to 30, they were saying how they don't want traditional things anymore. Like, for example, in the, what do they call that? The great wealth transfer that's supposed to be taking place at some point in the future, or they claim that some of it's trickling down now, that the older generations will be handing valuable things like their homes over to the younger generations. However, if you read the articles that came out a few months ago, once again, by those professional researchers, the youth don't even want homes. A lot of them, they don't want that responsibility. They said they don't want sewer bills. They don't want to worry about property taxes, which are astronomical. Okay. They don't want that. They were saying they're fine with apartments. Now, you and I may disagree with that and say, no, we always would go with a house, but that is their way. So now when we're thinking about tokenization, if the older generations don't know that information, they're handing their houses down. Some of them are going to leave this world, right? Houses get handed down. Those youth may not keep that. They may tokenize that. Tokenize it, sell it, tokenize it, fragment it, and allow people to buy pieces of that property. I think as an example, maybe I'm not being so eloquent. I'm hoping that's clear what I'm saying. A lot of that's going to happen. That's in addition to a lot of lending. Now, once value is being extracted and it's on chain, now lending can start, because now you can transfer that into something else, another asset or something like that. And then you can lend out the value. So now the value is on chain. Now the payments being made are coming across chain. How does that affect the native protocol? How does that affect the price of that native protocol? The volumes on some of these things will be out of this world. You think people aren't going to try to make capital, make money? Yes, they are. People right now are selling everything in sight right now. I'm seeing this. They're selling their old sneakers. They're selling, they have these internet electronic e-markets and stuff. They're selling everything. Old toys, the quote unquote classics for big money as well. You think that they're not going to use an even easier way to supremely maximize the value of those things? Come on. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And so that's just a retail aspect. That's when I think about it. And that's merely one dimension of that. OK, I don't claim that's not all of it. Now, when it comes to businesses, how much more do you think that activity is going to happen when it comes to businesses? Everything is going to be moving, folks. I'm telling you, unless someone knows how to purchase something, hold it, and maximize the value outright of it, like something like farmland, maybe. And even that's very iffy, because the farmers, as we've read over the years, there's a shortage of farmers. So if there's a shortage of farmers, unless you're going to bring someone new in, you have some insight that no one else has. How are you going to maximize the value of that? Unless you purchase that, and you purchase that preemptively, knowing that others want to purchase that in the future or going to need to purchase that, and then you sell it for a higher price, I suppose. But I think that a lot of that's going to happen. I think a lot of that's going to happen. But these things are going to move and change hands. That's a lot of volume. That's a lot of activity. That's a lot of value coming to chain. And, we don't have to talk about commodities. Everything's going to be tokenized. Everything. Who's going to be at the forefront of that? Who are the best of the best companies? Who has the most relationships with banks and nations and the White House, etc.? Who? You have a few companies. You got Ripple has a great relationship with a lot of entities. Chainlink, of course, Hedera, Solana, Stellar is in there. I mean, it's up to them. It's up to them how they actuate and maximize these things as companies. I mean, it's just a wait and see thing at this point. But some of them have hit the ground running for sure. You can see the hard work that they're putting in. So anyway, when they're talking about tokenization again, and you look at this article, and this article came out April the 8th, the time period doesn't matter. What they're saying is impactful. The fact that they have their eye on this tells you they never took their eye off the ball. They were talking about RWA tokenization. Ripple was, like 2.5 years ago, before anybody else, I remember, and maybe you saw it differently. That's possible. I don't see everything. I don't know what you've seen, but this is what I have viewed. Ripple spoke about RWA powerfully, and that really opened my eyes. It was like in January of one of those years in the past. I remember it was early in the year. And then later on, that's when BlackRock came out and was talking about RWA. Then Ripple got quiet. When Ripple gets quiet, in my experience, that's when they've gotten to work. They talked about it. Now they're attempting to do something about it. And here they are talking about it once again, because they know this is going to be huge. Huge. I cannot emphasize enough. Lending, when it comes to the banks are going to they're going to make it very easy for their customers and clients to lend, but they'll take a healthy percentage. The customers will get a percentage, but the banks are going to take a healthy percentage. This is one more way that they can make capital, a boatload of capital off of value and keep customers happy. There's a big problem right now, folks, with the banks. Did you see the articles that came out recently where, I don't want to say any names, but if you saw, you know, where a few of them are in court. A few big banks are in court. One of them is in court for, what do you call that? For illegal overage fees. I think that's how it was phrased. I believe. Look that up, okay? Do a little Google or Yahoo or Bing, whatever you use. So their customers are not happy. That hasn't changed. Now, reporting on deposit flight is something that has gotten buried, but the negative customer sentiment has not changed. There's still massive deposit flight. They're leaving the banks, going to money market funds, going to commodities, going to crypto. So the banks need something to draw customers back in. They do. Not only that, the banks desire gratefully, the commercial banks, medium size, small size, they desire greatly to do more business and stop getting crushed. And they don't want to be crushed anymore by the top banks. And that has been something that they have alleged for years. Back when we used to actually read their meeting minutes. Yeah, we did that. We used to do that. And they complained about that. Getting crushed. They want to grow. They want the same opportunity to grow that the big banks have. They can only achieve that through DLT and being able to do things like I just said, offer customers lending. More people are going to walk through that door. Most people don't want to deal with cold wallets, 25 word seed phrases. They don't want to do that. They're reading articles. I think is very suspicious, all of these different negative articles on cold wallets. You don't find that suspicious? At a time where DLT is about to be unleashed? Why didn't they write these articles 2 years ago? Yeah, I always ask that question. 1 year ago. Why not? Why not 3 years ago? Why not? Why right now? Oh, man, this guy lost his cold wallet. They keep talking about that same guy. Cold wallet is in a landfill. Now you got other cases. This other person lost their cold wallet. Oh, there was a video of a man crying. Oh my goodness, I deleted it all. You deleted what? Your hot wallet? What did you delete? Why put that out there? Why is this one person out of 7 billion people? Why is this one thing relevant to everyone? It's not. It's a concerted effort to push these negativities. Why? Because the financial industry, which has a lot of power and a lot of reach, in my humble opinion, you don't have to agree, wants to drive. They use the media to drive people towards things. They're not the only industry that does that. They use the media to drive people towards things. The next thing that they're talking about side by side with this is you and I saw a multitude of articles where they were talking about what? The banks offering what? Digital wallets. You think that's a coincidence? Because I do not believe in coincidence. For every cause, there is a because. For every effect, there is a cause. So they're bashing cold wallets while saying, hey, we'll do that for you. We'll handle that for you. Just come into the bank. Don't use those other independent cold wallets. Use ours. We're going to have one for you. We're going to have a hot wallet for you. They're getting rid of, what do you call that? The thing that's been under fire by the U.S. government. What is that thing called? The banks all have it. It's an e-system, e-money system. It's not digital. There's a differentiation. BIS let it be known. There's a differentiation between e-money systems, electronic money systems, and digital. Digital is DLT. E-money systems is the traditional stuff. Zelle, that's what it is. That's what it was. Zelle. See, it brought my memory back. Systems that are considered e-money for now. Zelle, I say for now because I'm not sure what's going on with PayPal. What's the one that, what is the legacy offering one that is getting heavy with DLT? I can't remember. But anyway, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, those are e-money systems, not digital. As far as nomenclatures are concerned and meanings are concerned. So that's been a push. They're trying to bring them in so they can use their services. So now if you have all of that going on these chains, how does that affect the price of these native protocol? And once again, once they get their hands on the technology and they can customize it, we don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what they're going to do. Is there a possibility? And I could talk about negatives all day, but other people do that. I'm gonna let them do that. Let me cover my aspect. This is what I do. So this is why I'm going to say here, in their systems, the banking industry who wants to maximize, and Ripple even said that they want to maximize the value of XRP. They just said that in the last 3 weeks. But you think they want to do that, but the financial industry doesn't on the top cryptos, which are literally up for grabs right now because retail has sort of slacked off, and they can buy those things up very easily and make a concerted effort to pump that price easily. And yes, they could hold it. They can do whatever they please. Once it's in their hands, they can do whatever they want with it. Ripple cannot stop them. SBI cannot stop them. They don't have a say. They provide the technology and they got to get out the way. Provide the technology and move around. That's how these entities that have had power for the longest time are not going to be listening to some newcomer. They'll let you benefit. They don't have a choice. They have to work with the DLT companies now. But they also, as a legacy system, are desirous of more power. What do you think was going on in the world? Financial systems, the last decade, there was a big cash grab going on, value grab going on. That's why everything's all messed up. They didn't play the game right. They played it unfair. And so now all the financial systems are swaying in the wind because there was this overprinting of value. Where did it go? Where did it go? Right. So at the essence, it shows they have this unbelievable, gargantuan desire to make more value and grab more power. So keeping that in mind, why would they not grab these top cryptos that are making the news and are going to be easy to max out the value of? Easy to profit from. Easy work for them. Easy work for them. And they've watched every step of the way. They know if they want to, they're the only ones that could pump something. That's it. They have the power. They have the mainstream media. Everyone's going to their branches. The branches pretty much are football tackling you. You go through the door with services. You want this service. You want that service. I don't want the service. I just want to do this one thing I came here to do. I don't want all these services. So they have that as well. So when it comes time, if they wanted to max out the value of even Bitcoin, XRP, ETH, Solana, any of these, they can do it. They can do it. They'll offer their customers these things. They don't have to even hold it. Hey, do you want some Bitcoin? We offer some Bitcoin services. We'll hold it for you. We take a little percentage off a little percentage for a little fee for holding it for you. But you get this much, and they show the customers the numbers over the last few years of when Bitcoin does spike. They say, oh, you put in a little bit. Well, a little bit from a lot of people is a lot. It's a great deal. A great amount. You put in a little bit, just like they do with savings accounts and how they sell savings accounts. You think they're not going to do that with crypto once they're in control of it? And at this trajectory, they're going to be in control of it. What's it going to do to that price? Well, if you hold a little bit of XRP, you do this. Someone will say, oh, Mick, why would they do that? Why do they push CDs? Why do they push any of the stuff that they push? Is anyone majorly benefiting from that? Because I know for a fact people have probably benefited more from staking on Solana in 1 year than most people have benefited from certain offerings from the banks over a decade. Staking on certain things and holding a certain amount of things has made people unbelievable amounts of value, changed their entire lives. I'm not so sure a CD or offerings from banks and things like that have done such a thing. As a matter of fact, people's savings accounts have been ridiculous, and they're learning that now. So banks are when it comes to tokenization and the process tokenization and offerings, ways to maximize value, I'm tying all that together. It's all going to matter. It's all going to matter greatly. Now it's just up to the people to watch and see like what's going on. What are they actually doing? How are the systems going to use that? And that's going to take time. Not everybody's going to be there to see it. It's just the way that it is. It's that way with everything. But inevitably, the systems are going to take it there. One, and I'm trying to think of a polite way to say it. It doesn't matter who's there when it happens. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter who is there and who's not there. It's going to happen. It's like the sun rising and falling. If I'm on this earth, the sun rises and falls. It's going to happen. If I'm not on this earth, the sun will rise and fall. It's going to happen. It's like that. That's how I look at it. It's just an inevitability. So this is why they're all consistently now talking about tokenization, RWA tokenization, everything tokenized, right? So now, wait a minute, let's get to a little bit of Bitcoin. Let's give Bitcoin a little bit of room to breathe today. All right. My apologies. I've been so into the utility coin news. I just do the best that I can. Sometimes I'm eloquent and sometimes I'm a little less eloquent. I won't say I'm completely ineloquent. I'm not, I don't know if that's a word, but I do my best every single time, and every time I do, I think about my father and honoring my father. My father always said, Mick, no matter what you do, give your best. Give your best. And between my father and my mother, their words mean the most to me in life. I don't play around with what they taught me at all whatsoever. They laid the law. I follow the law. That's how it is, right? That's how it is for me. So I feel, nonetheless, whether I'm eloquent or not, I feel like I feel good because I gave my best. I gave it my all. I didn't leave anything. I didn't leave anything off the table. All right. So now, Bitcoiners, this is an article titled, Bitcoiners were first to realize U.S. economic data, quote, was wrong, unquote. This is coming from Pompliano. What do they mean? What happened? Did I miss something? Anthony Pompliano said Bitcoiners, quote, figured out a way to financially capture upside if they were right, unquote. Okay, elaborate a little bit further, sir. Bitcoin holders were the first to point out flaws in the United States economic data and position themselves for the potential upside, says crypto entrepreneur Anthony Pompliano. Quote, Bitcoiners, they've repeated like 3 times. Why do they do that? Let me scroll down. I want to get past that little quote. They do it again. They read it again. Write it again. Read it. I mean, they write it. So now, quote, my father would get on me. Mick, stop saying all the time. You're saying Yeah, he was like that. Between him and my grandmother, when it comes to speech and language, they were on you. My grandmother was a teacher, so that's why. My grandmother on my father's side was a teacher, and my grandfather on my father's side was a detective. Between those two, you could imagine my father was going to make sure you were good to go. All right. But when I say his voice and his image pops in my mind. Nick, stop saying right. He used to get on me about that. My apologies, folks. Quote, the unspoken secret as to why so many finance folks are wrong in their analysis of the things that are going on. You know what's going on in the world right now. They're all throwing them back and forth at each other economically, right? I won't say too much because I don't need YouTube to penalize me for no reason. It says, is because the finance folks believe the government data, unquote. He added, what do you mean by that? What government data? I mean, I don't get into all that other stuff. I don't care about that stuff. But I look at things from a neutral perspective, and I try to be as logical as possible and go by also my experiences of what I've seen. So if I'm looking at jobs data, I'm looking at who buys what from who. I'm looking at everything from an outside perspective. Does that make sense? And not from an emotional standpoint or tribalistic standpoint. I have nothing to do with any of that. And when I see that, I say to myself, at some point, there must be homeostasis achieved. There must be a balance achieved. There has to be. All of these countries want to win. They all want to win. That's what it's all about. They all want to live good. They all want to do good. And I'm trying to say things that represent from the top to the bottom. The people at the bottom want to live good. They just want to live their normal lives. They don't really want trouble. They don't really want trouble. Not most of them. There are anarchists and things like that. You know, my apologies. I know anarchists could mean a lot of different things, but I mean the ones that are like, I want trouble. That's what I mean. All right. I don't mean other ones. You're like, are there other ones? I've met some other ones. Yes, there's other ones. And at the top, they want their power. They don't want their power to be damaged. So there can be damage going around on all sides and things like that. I think that there has to be a balance. People come to the table. So I thought he was going to speak about jobs numbers or something like that. I thought that's what he was talking about. But it says here, oh, wait. Let me scroll down. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Come on now. It says Bitwise invest head of Alpha Strategy said on April 9th that there is a, quote, higher chance Bitcoin survives over the dollar in our lifetime after today, unquote. Well, I don't think in extremes like that. I don't think the dollar's not going anywhere. As a dollar is a symbol. More than it is a holder or a representative of value, it's a symbol. This is why they parade the dollar all around the world. It's not going anywhere. The dollar is almost like a soldier piece on the chessboard. All right. It goes before the United States. Not that it goes away. It precedes the United States. Right. So they use the dollar to battle for dominance. This is why a lot of the countries now, what was it? Was it Europe recently, right? You saw that article? Europe was talking about the euro competing with the dollar. Oh, if the dollar is the stable coins come over here and flood the market, then that would be problematic for them. Why? Why did they say that? Right. The dollar isn't going anywhere. So the dollar not surviving, no, I don't think so. I think all of these fiats, to some form, as symbols, they will remain. That's why they're going to be chained to stable coins and things like that. But I don't think there needs to be a comparison. Bitcoin is going to do what it was designed to do. Or rather, let me not say what it was designed to do. No. It's going to do what it has. It's going to serve the purpose it has become. Does that make sense? Serve the purpose that it has become. It has become something different. So its purpose has changed. It has become a moneymaker. It's become a moneymaker. And that's what it's going to do. I don't think there's any comparison needed. The same thing with XRP. It's going to serve the purpose of what it has become. And change and becoming go hand in hand. They're one and the same. Change and becoming. We're in a constant state of becoming. These things are in a constant state of becoming something else. And change is the only constant. It's constantly changing. So that's how I look at it. Gold has its place. And it's not going anywhere. And it's going to do very well, in my humble opinion, for a little bit of time more. Gold looks great to me. Bitcoin is going to do very well, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. If you don't agree with that, that's perfectly fine. I'm not here to convince anybody. And a dollar is I'm not saying the dollar is going to do great. Fiat currencies across the board have problems. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to disappear. I don't think so. Don't see the value. See everything else that fiat currency does. See the symbol that it is, what it represents. I don't think it's going anywhere. So that's my thoughts on that. Bitcoin is super bullish. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.